Chief, thanks so much for having us at your fire department. It's been just amazing. I mean, the morale here in Wildwood is top notch. I don't know what you guys are doing, but you're definitely doing something right.
We absolutely appreciate that you guys, took an interest in our department, and it's something that, as an organization, as a department, we definitely pride ourselves on maintaining that high level of morale.
That doesn't happen overnight, right? Would you agree, Chief?
Absolutely not. It's something that's been built over a long period of time. I personally was born and raised here. I grew up in that firehouse. My grandfather worked there, and you talk about the kitchen table. I was raised at that kitchen table.
That's awesome.
Just the morale that was instilled at a young age as a kid. It was just even when you're at school, when you're playing sports, whatever, I didn't want to be anywhere else besides in that firehouse.
Chief Dunn, talk to us a little bit about what it was like for you as a kid growing up in this city, and then reflecting on where you're at now. I mean, it's got to be amazing.
Yeah, so it's definitely unique. So not everybody grows up in a town that has their up and down periods where you literally go from 5,000 residents in a square mile, which is still pretty dense considering.
Right.
But then to explode into 250,000 people during the summer months, and it's a total almost role reversal where, you have to do and provide the same level of service, but to a much greater population with the same amount of resources that you have. So it's definitely unique in that way. It's challenging, but that challenge makes it exciting.
You remember being a kid, riding your bike around town, and people from the summer came, and how much changed just as a kid.
Yeah, absolutely. As a kid, you used to ride the bike was a way of life. You rode your bike from one end of the island to the next, and I remember as a kid, I had a bike. It was a red and white bike, fire engine red. I had a little flashing red light on it and this little siren, awesome. And I used to, chase the fire truck all around town with my little bike.
And now look at you. I mean, you're deputy chief of the fire department here in Wildwood City. Talk to me about some of the things you look for in your firefighters. As the DC, like what are some of the things you want to say? So,
the main thing I think is, and I try to demonstrate and portray that image of having that love for the job. I really think that when you have that love for the job and the enthusiasm, that you're going to excel. As long as you're bringing 110% and your heart is totally into this job, then we can teach you everything else. But you need to have that heart. You need to be into the job, because if you're just in this to just have a job, we talk about the people that are you on the job or are you into the job?
Absolutely.
And you absolutely, some of the we've been very fortunate here that even with our seasonal and our summer personnel, some of the people that come through our doors that we get the opportunity to work with, they love the job. They're here for the right reasons, and they either get hired full-time here or somewhere else, and that just carries on throughout their career.
Chief, what's it like for you to have, the type of caliber captains you have working under you? I mean, these guys, the way they perform and their love for the job, their love for the craft, speaks volumes. And I'm not just saying this for the sake of saying it. I mean, I certainly wouldn't say it if I didn't see it. What's that like for you to have those kind of captains under your command?
Yeah, that's priceless. As you know, the company officer position in any fire department is the most critical position. They are that linchpin.
Absolutely.
They really are setting the tone for what the troops are doing on the street every single day. And I can't speak enough for our captains and the work that they do to make sure that every time our personnel are rolling out the door, no matter what it is, it could be a stub toe or it could be a working fire, that they are absolutely performing 110%, the highest level, and always demanding excellence of their personnel. So I can't say enough about the work that our captains do. It would be impossible for us to achieve success without them being as
absolutely
good as they are.
Absolutely. I mean, and I will say from a company's perspective, a department's perspective, we're only as good as our leadership. And I commend you and the chief and the captains for the work you're doing, because it's definitely working. And you have a lot of obstacles here. I mean, first of all, it's a resort community, and on top of that, you have all these things. You have high hazards, right? You have the boardwalk, obviously, and the amusement rides, and then you have your regular common cock loft, and then you have your certain building construction that's going on. Then you have water rescue on top of that. So you guys have to be diverse, right?
Absolutely. And we are an all hazards department, and that's not even, you don't have a choice.
Right.
Like, when you're it. And, you talk about the uniqueness of the different types of possibilities that we could possibly respond to. Like you said, we could be, our personnel could respond down to the beach, 10 minutes from now for a water rescue, and 5 minutes later they're getting dried off and they're putting their turnout gear to respond to a fire incident. I mean, that's very unique. Like, there is other places that have that, but you never know what the day or night are going to bring for you. So that adds that level of, anticipation, and always having to be prepared for whatever's thrown your way.
One of the things I thought was so cool is that when I first got here for the first part, was these guys have a riding assignment, and they also have a swimming assignment. And that's something that not every fire department can say they have, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's on our assignment board. It is, you have your driver, your officer, and then your swimmer 1 and swimmer 2.
Right.
And the guys that are actually, when they, you're always excited when you get assigned to the nozzle position, or even if you're on the irons, whatever, like, okay, I'm going right in.
Yeah.
But the guys get just as excited when they're assigned to that swimming position, because that same level of, that when that tone drops for a water rescue and we get down there, if somebody's in distress, you're going in.
You're the one, right? Absolutely. Chief, talk to me a little bit about the transformation in Wildwood. I mean, it's certainly seen its change throughout the years. I mean, especially for as long as the time you've been on here. Talk to me a little bit about the change you see in the city.
So, over the past, and it really started in the early 2000s, there was a big building boom on our entire island, and it really was mainly condo buildings, multi-family condominium complexes. It's all, new lightweight construction, so you saw that influx, whereas in the past, most of what we were dealing with was very old legacy type construction, 2.5, 3-story wood frames, most of which were balloon frame.
Right.
Rooming houses, apartment houses, which obviously you have the high life hazard in those occupancies, but we were so used to operating those. And then now you have that transition where you have a 3-story balloon frame rooming house next to a 3-story lightweight condo building. So, you have different obvious concerns and hazards with each. But in the past couple of years specifically, the city of Wildwood has definitely seen an uptick in construction again. We've had a couple hotels built. There's more in the works. A couple large construction projects that are supposed to start this fall. So it's all going to add to, our responsibilities and what we're tasked with to protect.
Chief, I'm going to throw this question at you, and I think it needs to be said because, as many know, people who watch our program are firefighters or families of firefighters. However, we do have quite a few people who watch that aren't either. What are some of the challenges you face, let's say on Firefighters Weekend? What are some tips that you can give to firefighters who, by nature, want to help, by nature want to be there to give you a hand? I mean, what are some of the things you can offer out?
Yeah, so anywhere that has hosted any kind of, we are fortunate enough that we host the New Jersey State Firefighters Convention every year in September here. Like other conferences across the country host, like Firehouse Expo, FDIC. Everybody, like you said, we're all type A personalities.
Absolutely.
We all want to help. We're,
Yep.
That's in our blood. But when we go out of our area, we have to understand that, those guys do the same job that we do, and they're trained and they're professional, and take that step back and just say, okay, they got it, let them handle it. And fortunately, for the most part, over the years, we haven't had too many issues with that. The most recent experience was actually during the Firemen's Convention in 2019. We had a 3-story condo building that had a pancake collapse of their three front decks.
I remember that.
With several people trapped. And obviously, it was actually a fire company that was staying there. They were involved directly. In fact, their members were trapped. And I will say that they were absolutely, as soon as our personnel arrived, they took a step back and they let our guys go to work, because they knew that, we had the equipment, we had the training, and they could tell right away that the job was going to get done.
And that had to be hard, knowing it was one of their own that
absolutely
was, in that position. So
it takes a lot of restraint.
Absolutely, I commend that department for that type of restraint.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if I even have that restraint myself, knowing that was one of my brothers under there. But yeah. Yep,
exactly.
Earlier we spoke about some of the complex issues you guys have here in Wildwood. What do you tell your membership, about this building construction? What do you tell them about? Because I know that's a passion of yours, is building construction. I mean, the fire load now, and how fast these fires are burning because of construction materials. What's the priority for you guys on a arrival on these fires?
The biggest priority, and I've always, even when I was a shift captain, is stretch in line, and stretch in line quickly and efficiently. So I want that line to come off quick. I want it to go to the location that it needs to be, and we need to get water on the fire immediately, because that reduces so many of our problems. If we can get, first of all, we're good because we're small square miles. The city of Wildwood itself is only 1.2 square miles. The whole island is 5 miles long. So we're fortunate we have a very quick response time. Get there, get the line off, get it stretched, get it in operation, get water on that fire, and that's going to reduce the potential for more problems that we're going to deal with. Because as you see, the density, we're not responding to any fire incident where we're not automatically thinking that we may have an exposure problem.
Absolutely, and that's just evident by what we see just driving through the city. And again, there's so many different variations of the city, that you have to learn. And what I see here is that your firefighters, including your command staff, just needs to train and stay proficient.
Absolutely, and training is something that we, as the administration, the chief, the deputy, we promote constantly. Our company officers are tasked with that, and they do a great job on a daily basis with our training policy. It's a minimum of 1 hour of training a day, but all 4 of our platoons, on most days when they can, in between runs, and it's a little more difficult in the summertime, but they'll exceed that because they're eager to learn, they're eager to stay proficient, and they want to be the best at their job.
Chief, it's obvious to me that you bleed the job. What's one of your proudest moments being a firefighter in Wildwood?
I would say the proudest moment for me, besides the day that I actually got hired full time and basically living my childhood dream.
It's like hitting a lottery.
Is hitting the lottery, and I had fortunate, when I went to college and other stuff, I had other experiences. I did an internship up in the city of New Haven, Connecticut. Great department, great guys. I have friends in numerous other departments, guys that worked here part-time that are all over the country now. But I always loved it here. And I just felt there was always something special about this firehouse. And so other than that, when I got promoted to deputy chief, I think that was probably the greatest day of my career. And because it's humbling and it's a privilege to be able to work and serve not only the community, but to be able to serve the firefighters and the department as a whole.
Absolutely.
As a captain, I was able to make 4 firefighters under my command, try to make them have a great experience, make them want to love coming to work. But as deputy chief, I get to help all 24 members
or make effective change.
Yep.
Yeah. Where do you see the fire department going in a few years? I mean, you see where you're at now. You see where you came from, the humble beginnings at Wildwood. Where do you see this department in, let's say, 5 years? What's your plan?
5 years from now, we're definitely at a point now where it's becoming more difficult to recruit and retain part-time personnel. And it's just because of changing, property values, demographics, and whatnot. But we have more and more people that are coming from an hour and a half, 2 hours away, and they're great. but there's fewer of them. So we're going to have to look at how we're going to solve that. So that staffing issue full time.
Right.
And obviously for the local taxpayer, because those are limited in numbers.
Right.
But my hope is that with the increase in the rateable base through the development and the construction, that eventually we'll get there and be able to, make sure that we maintain our minimum levels of staffing at a safe level. And five years from now, at some point here, you're definitely going to have to start seriously looking at regionalization. They've been talking about it again lately. It's been a discussion for years, but it's got to be on a large scale level. It's not just here.
Right.
There are a lot of these small departments and smaller communities, and you're seeing even some of our neighboring communities that have volunteers now, that their volunteer base is an aging volunteer base. And with the cost of property here, young families, aren't going to be able to live in some of these neighborhood communities, and they're just going to have to say, okay, we need to do something, and that may, result in having to hire more staff.
When I hear you talk like that, it's very progressive thinking. And that, I think, is what's so different in the fire service for when, I started in the 90s. It was always everyone kind of wanted to stay in their own sandbox. Everybody wanted their own island, if you will. Mm-hmm. But it's good to see that progressive talk, just realizing that, look, this is the needs of the city. This is the needs of the taxpayer. And you guys are doing a phenomenal job for what you have and, who you're relying on. Mm-hmm. I noticed that you guys rely on North Wildwood for the ladder. Yep. You guys work so well together. We had an opportunity last night to work with those guys a little bit, which was cool.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a team effort. I mean, island wide here, there's only so many people available, and when we have serious incidents, working fires, like anywhere else, we have our automatic aid and our mutual aid, and
right.
We have that we've worked together, so we have that understanding, and we all work well together. We know what to anticipate, and that's just I see that just continuing to expand into the future.
Chief, last question I ask you, and this might be a little tough question. I asked Firefighter Sharp the same question, and it kind of took him back. As a deputy chief, I'm sure you don't have an opportunity to always have everybody in the firehouse in front of you so that you could say things that you want to say to everybody collectively. It's just the real world, that's not always the case. If you had an opportunity right now to say something to your membership, your firefighters, what do you say to them?
I mean, honestly, I love every one of them. I thank them for everything that they do each and every day to come into work and bust their butts to make sure that they're the best that they can absolutely be, to further their education, further their training, whatever they can do to better themselves and better our department. And it's just an honor and a privilege, as I said before, to be in the position that I am, to be able to serve them and perhaps make changes that help them be better and set the department up for the future. And as the deputy chief, one of my, and for the Chief Triano, one of the major things that we have to be concerned with is setting them up for success in the future. Because,
Absolutely.
A few years from now, it could totally change again, and you'll have a whole new cadre of company officers and chief officers, and you want this department after you leave to be better than you found it.
Absolutely. That's a great statement. That's what everybody in a position of leadership should think. Chief, I appreciate you talking to us, and for one, it was an honor to be able to ride with you guys, get a feel of family from the Wildwood Fire Department, and really it did feel like family for us.
I definitely appreciate it, and as we said before, you always have an open door at the Shore House.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Chad Alvarado.
We have Chad here. Chad, and you're rocking a brand new hat today.
I am rocking a brand new hat. Brought it out just for you guys.
Just for us. So
right.
That's where we rate at PintheQ. Thanks a lot for coming on the show, brother.
Thanks for having me.
So before we get too far into this, why don't you tell us a little bit about how this all started for you? How did you become a firefighter?
I grew up in Wildwood, the town just south of here. My dad and my grandfather were volunteers in Wildwood Fire Company. And just being a young kid, following my dad around, going to the firehouse, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like most kids do.
Right. Where that seed is like planted so
yeah,
early.
Just enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Chasing fire trucks around on my bike as a kid around the island. And then I went off to college, came back, did the volunteer thing, had a good couple guys in the crest that kind of took me under their wing and showed me like, hey, this is how you do it. You know, figure it out yourself.
Right.
This is the path. Derek Obrowski, who works here, and then a retired guy, Ron Harwood. And started working part-time.
Nice. Got my
EMT, and here I am.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
What is it about this fire department specifically that means so much to you?
The department itself is a very tight-knit group of guys, right. And the town's a tight-knit group of people. I'm sure you see us running around talking to people at calls and stuff like that, and it's just there's something about working on the island you grew up in where you really don't have anything like that. You know what I mean? You go, you see neighbors, friends, family. You know what I mean? You get to go see the kids at sporting events or support people or whatever they're doing. So
I know exactly what you're talking about because the first time we were here, we were at a small crash, but everyone on the rig made it a point to come out and talk to somebody who was on a sidewalk or somebody who was walking by and wanted to know what was going on, and there was no discontent. You could just tell genuinely that people wanted to talk to each other, which is huge. And then on the boardwalk, giving out the plastic fire helmets to everybody.
It's great.
I mean, the community relations that your department has is top notch, and believe me, that pays huge dividends for people in the community seeing what you guys are doing. I mean, it's definitely being noticed. What would you say one of the challenges is for you being a firefighter here in Wildwood? What kind of challenges do you guys face?
We got a variety of. I mean, from obviously. Different types of building construction with, you got some high rises for the hotels down to single families. You go from the beach side to the bay side, and we're kind of like an all hazards type department. We take care of a lot of stuff. Outside of the department, we take care of a lot of stuff for the city, like anywhere else. Just the guys with maybe don't have the answers, but can get the job done.
Well, because in an instant, you have a problem on a roller coaster, and then the next thing you know, you're at a single family,
exactly,
or even a small cottage. You know. Behind the residence, there's a small cottage.
There's a lot of them around here.
Yeah,
dotted around the island.
That in itself presents a lot of challenges. So, is that something that you say to new firefighters coming in, like, hey, these are some of the hazards we have here?
Yeah. So we this last year has been a big emphasis on our water rescue, kind of bringing it up to probably where it needs to be. Okay. We've had a couple guys that have really been instrumental in that. But in just regards to the fire side of it. A lot of the training we get is on EMS calls, going through buildings, access. Hey, where's the front door? You come to places that it's on the side. A lot of our condos are side access stairwells, or even rear. So, I mean, then you got to start thinking about long lays and, apartment lays and stuff like that. And we're pretty well versed for it. But we take the new guys out. We like to take them up on the boardwalk. There's a lot of different obstacles that seem very routine that, you just pick up on. And the guys we have here, the new guys we bring in, are very eager to learn. And
absolutely,
they all kind of. You got to make it fun and enjoy it.
I don't believe that this is the type of place you can come here and think you're going to lounge around. I mean, this is a house you're going to come to, and you're going to be told, like, look, you need to learn. This is no joke.
They hold you to a standard. Yeah. And I remember coming here and talking to a couple of the full time guys when I was working part time, and they were like, hey, here's the deal. You're either in or you're out. Yeah. And we don't have many people that don't buy in. A lot of people are full into it.
I love that word buy-in, man, because that's exactly what it has to be, right? You have to has to be a buy-in. Chad, talk to me about that kitchen table. What does it mean to be a firefighter around a kitchen table?
The kitchen table is a unique spot. I mean, as you guys know, and I'm sure a lot of people do, but you can solve the world problems there, but at the same, it goes full circle. You know what I mean? Whether you're there nonsensing about family stuff, calls we had, previous calls, retired guys, up and coming guys. You know what I mean? You learn a lot there. I came to the firehouse with a little bit of cooking knowledge, and I've quickly learned at that table. My dad gave me a lot of good cooking knowledge, but I've learned how to cook here. Like, you either step up and learn how to and know how to cook or not. And the tables, you learn a lot at that table, sitting down and
learn a lot about yourself at that table
Oh,
too.
yeah.
You know,
Yep.
It's great to be able to come there. What I love about the kitchen table is you can have a really, really bad day,
Yeah.
and then your brothers and sisters notice that it's for real. You're having a really bad day, and then instantly it goes from joking around, horsing around, to having a serious conversation
Exactly.
about whatever it is.
One little thing comes up, somebody comes in, you sit down at the table and you get a cup of coffee or whatever you drink, your choice is, and it's a I'm trying to think of the words that would be good for it, but it's a unique spot.
It is definitely a unique spot. Tell me a little bit about the people you work with this shift, the A shift.
So I was on A shift when I first got hired. I got hired in 2019, July 1st. I was assigned to A platoon. I worked A platoon with now Deputy Dunn, who was the captain at the time, as a part timer. So I got my heart's got the shift's got my heart a little bit.
Right.
But Captain Feltwell, he's I guess one of the newer captains, but it's a pleasure to work under him. And you got Tina and Brendan. Brendan was a year or two younger than me, so was Tina, but we all grew up in the area. We kind of didn't know each other, so it's kind of nice to bring it back together. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah.
Didn't realize how close you really were. And then we have our duty crew, Joe McCauley, Joe Fish as we call him, and he's been he just graduated hite school this year, and the kid is outstanding.
It's awesome.
You know what I mean? It's nice to see somebody want to take that next step, and he's doing it for his EMT, and it's kind of, it's fun to see somebody go through those things that you went through at one point.
Oh, absolutely,
It excites you a little bit still. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it makes you feel like you're back to
absolutely
where you were.
Yeah, sometimes you get in that little bit of a rut, and then you get someone new.
It happens. Everybody does. Everyone's got jobs outside of here.
Right.
This past 2 years hasn't been anything easy for anybody,
right.
let alone in here.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it is nice to come here, and I mean, this place is like a vacation from a real job. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it's something else.
Yeah,
but the shift is a good group of people. Dave Bannon, who's not here today, is our number 2 guy. He's a great guy.
He heard the cameras were coming. He's like,
I don't know if he took off or not.
I just remember I got something to do.
He's got he's got like a local business selling food at events and stuff, and it's interesting to we kind of pick each other's brain about side businesses and things like that. It's nice to have a different avenue to reflect with somebody with. You know what I mean?
That's what's beautiful about the 24/7 too.
Oh.
You can have a whole nother.
Yeah, well, we're on we have 4 on 4 off.
Okay.
So we got the 48.
Yeah.
It's nice.
That
It's
is
really
nice.
nice. It's the same thing as Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And it really helps out. Oh my gosh, those 4 days. Some days are nice to reset and come back, and then you're back in the groove.
Chad, a lot of firefighters have different ways of managing stress. Managing bad calls, things they've seen. Because not everyone could see through our eyes and see the things we see. What's one of the ways you've found in your career so far that you were able to manage stress?
Just talking stuff out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big mushy type of person. Some people are, some people aren't. Yeah. And just kind of call the shots as they are, and especially with the people here that have the same type of mindset that can they understand where you're coming from. Not everyone will understand it.
Right.
And it's nice some days to be able to just say what you feel and not be judged for it. And people are like, hey, I get it, Yeah. Sometimes you just got to say stuff out loud to hear yourself say it. And
one of the things you just said, and this is what I try to preach to everybody that watches our show, and then that is that it's just that communication, just talking. I mean, that's huge. Speaking to peers about things that we see or do is huge. Yeah. You don't realize the benefit in that. Instead of taking it home and kicking the dog upside down and being upset and all that kind of stuff. Talking goes along.
It does. And the more you talk, the easier it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The better kind of rapport you get with people, the easier it just flows off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Chad, I appreciate talking to us, man. And I said it's been a great time here at the house. Cool to be here at nighttime, which is cool.
Yeah.
Get to see some of the city.
Yeah, you kind of made it like right at the end of summer. It was kind of a nice little, way to wrap it up here.
Yeah, it's actually pretty busy up there.
It is pretty busy.
There's a lot of people up there.
Even for tonight, I was kind of surprised. We were to call earlier. I just peeked my head up to see how many people were on the boardwalk. Yeah. I was surprised how many people were still up there.
Oh yeah,
it was nice to see. It's sad to see the people leave.
Yeah. They're still here though, so that's
and they'll be here.
So who knows what the night's gonna bring, right?
You never know, man. It's a wild spot.
Thanks again, bro. I appreciate talking to us.
So, Bert, why don't you go ahead and tell us how long have you been here with the department?
I've been here a couple months now. So my first summer down here in Wildwood.
Okay.
My second summer overall working down the shore.
Okay. And did you come from another department, or you started out here?
No, I'm up from North Jersey.
North Jersey.
Yeah, I'm all the way up to Cedar Grove, so about 15 minutes from Patterson. So
So before we even start, just because I'm intrigued by this, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the differences in firefighting operations between up north and here?
I mean, there's a big difference because where I'm from, it's normal, you know, wood frame houses, and then you know, nursing homes and stuff like that. But then you come here and it's like you got hotels, you got single families, multiple families, the boardwalk, boats. So there's anything basically is down here.
And would you say you like it better here or up there?
Both have, you know, their positives. At least, you know, bread and butter, you kind of know what you're going into up there. But here, I like the challenge, so I don't know what I'm going into. So that's kind of adds to, you know, the spice of the calls every time it comes out.
All right. And what age do you think you kind of thought this idea in your head that you wanted to be a fireman?
Right after, right when I was in the middle of Fire 1. I mean, I grew up more on the EMS side. My dad was an EMT. I grew up there, and my mom being a nurse. But then I wanted that challenge, and I really liked rescue. And once I went to Fire 1, I was bitten by the bug, and I was like, I don't want to do college anymore. I want to go, you know, become a career fireman.
I think for a lot of us, I know myself, Frank, I think we all kind of dabble a little bit in EMS, you know, beforehand. For whatever reason, that's kind of how we start.
Yeah.
For most, I know myself, that was how I started, was EMS before I got to fire. So if there was the overall best thing about this department that you tell people, your friends, other firemen, what would that be about this place?
I get to work down the shore. Like, you know, I get to work in the shore.
The shore.
Like, yeah, the shore. You know, you can walk on the boardwalk. You get that sea air. You know, you don't really get that anywhere.
Mhm.
You know, North Jersey, you got all these high rises in the cities and all the apartments. Like, you know, down here, you get, you know, nice sun, good people down here. And it's
Definitely
fun.
different tactics.
Yeah,
right?
different tactics. Complete different tactics.
Now, I know we talked about it a little bit with your other coworkers that we've talked to here, but you know, myself and Frank noticed you guys are big into PR and public relation. I noticed you specifically were talking with a family off to the side. How important is that to you and to this department to be out there and be vocal with the public?
I mean, it's a big part because, you know, they see us on the other side, like, doing our jobs, and, you know, maybe they might think that, you know, we just go to work and sleep and
Right.
do whatever, but, like, this way they get to see that, like, hey, like, you know, come see the fire truck, you know, get them acclimated to see, like, hey, like, you know, if we actually come to your house and there's something
Sure.
wrong, that don't be afraid of us. We're here
Right.
to help you, and we're, you know, it's just, it helps, makes us look good in, you know, the public side.
100%. So this is an important question for me, just because I'm always curious as to where people come from or, you know, who they admire. If you had to pick one person in the fire service that you would say you admire or you look up to or has made an impact in your career so far, who do you think that would be?
I'd have to say one of my Fire 1 instructors. Unfortunately, he passed away last year, B.B. Baker. A quote that will live to me till the day I die is, you know, every day you're always training. And, you know, the day you stop training is the day you should retire. And, you know, that's like coming down here. Doesn't matter if it's hands-on training, watching a video, talking with everybody on shift. I mean, me being a part-timer, like, I'm on different shifts, so at least I get to absorb a lot of information. You know, I work B shift. A lot of those guys are with the rust team, so I get to, like, learn more about the rescue side of it. So it doesn't matter who I am. I'm always learning from these guys. They've been here like a couple years. They've been here 20 years. That's what I want to learn. I want to be able to absorb all that information so I can be able to pass it on to the other part-timers, newer people that come on, or even bring it back to, you know, my volley squad, you know, up north.
It's a great mindset. It's a great attitude, and I mean, honestly, that's what it's about. We never stop training. We never stop learning, right? All the way up the ranks. You know, me and the captain were talking about it before about, you know, training, on-hand training, book training. You kind of got to be in the middle. You got to
Yeah.
pick up books, but you also got to get out there. And
Yeah.
You got to be hands-on, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially with this job, you know, everything's not going to be like to the book. You know, you're going to have those situations where you got to think outside the box and be able to get everything done.
Sure, sure.
Jesse Harris.
Jesse, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, talk to me a little bit about your role here at the firehouse.
So for here, I'm just a part-time firefighter, EMT. We have so many part-timers, and then we have the career staff. In the summertime, they use the part-timers a lot, especially for the ambulance. The wintertime, we get used for call-outs a lot more. so the hours aren't as much. But the summer, we're here a lot. So, like for me and some of the other guys, like I work down the north end,
Okay.
and we also have other jobs all over the place. So like,
Right.
sometimes you'll see us working 48 hours, even 96 hours straight. It just varies. But
What's the advantage of working here in Wildwood for you anyway? What's it for personally?
the call volume, more EMS. There's different developments and stuff around here. A lot of different call volumes on different calls, traumas, medicals, wrecks. Just seems like there's a little bit more stuff here.
As a part timer, what do you think your responsibility is to the membership?
Just obviously whoever's coming in behind you or like a new part timer, just showing him the best you can on what to do. Trying to get here early, trying to clean up, take the trash out, anything like that. Just not sitting around. I mean, for part timer, if they are working a lot of hours, I know it's hard, but it's just trying to be motivated all day.
Right. Just part of that grind.
Yeah,
so
the grind.
Trying to get a full-time job somewhere.
Yep.
You got to certainly prove yourself.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have to prove yourself more as a part timer?
Some days. Yeah. I mean, I think we work a lot. So it's like I said, the days when you come in, I think the captains look at them and they see that they've been grinding. So it's like some days are a little easier, some days are not. It just depends on how the days go.
What's it like to work for a place that you have a riding assignment, but then also you have a swimming assignment? I mean, what's that like for you?
It is different. Like you just said, you can go from riding on the ambulance to going to the beach in a matter of seconds. And it's kind of entertaining in a sense because one second you have these clothes on, the next you have swim trunks on, if you have them with you.
Right.
So that's what's fun about it.
My chef jack is a little old, but I do like to cook for the guys and gals for it too.
So this is La Pizza.
La Pizza Tega it's my family's restaurant.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's your family's restaurant?
Right up in Glenwood, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're back, and this time we're in the Bay Area, the firehouse, with this awesome brass pole, which you don't find in every firehouse these days. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you.
This is cool to have this in the
Very
firehouse,
cool.
right?
Very,
And I
very
heard you almost killed yourself the first time coming down, right?
I did about 6-8 months ago, first night shift here. Needless to say, my volley department up north a little bit, we don't have poles, it's a one-story building. I took my shot at it, head almost slammed into that, but I can tell you today, after 6 months, I've mastered it.
So
Definitely
just like
mastered it.
everything in the fire service, if you fall, you just get back up,
Yeah,
and you're good the next day.
100%.
Why don't you tell everybody who you are, bro?
My name is Joe McCauley. I'm the volunteer duty crew on A shift.
What's the volley crew? What's that all about? It's sort
So
of-
basically, it is volunteer. It's voluntary. You work every day the career guys work. So basically, it's 4 days a week.
Right.
You got your 10s, your 14s, working every day. But you can also pick up other shifts.
Okay.
I work a lot of other open shifts. Like currently, we have 3 that are assigned shifts. We got me, A platoon. We have my friend Mikey Brown. He's on B platoon. My friend Mike Wow. You guys interviewed him a
Yep.
while ago. He's on C platoon. There's a vacancy on D platoon, so I like to pick that one up. So I mean, you can work on limited hours, which is great. I mean, you come in here, you embrace the grind, you work as many shifts as you can, you pick up a lot of knowledge. I love doing that. It's definitely that.
What are you taking away from this personally?
Personally, it's not. I know Mike talked about a little bit how, like he told you, the money aspect, the grants and stuff like that. For me, it's the knowledge. Definitely the knowledge. I come in here like a sponge, absorb everything I can. That's the big thing with me. I mean, this place. I mean, the individuals here, they're the greatest group of people I've ever met. Really. I've been around a lot of fire departments. I'm only 18, I know that, but in my day, I grew up in the little fire aspect, and the people here, second to none, really are. I learned so much from them.
So would you agree that there's a family aspect here that you embraced?
Definitely a huge family aspect. I was welcomed in right away. I mean, I think I'm a likable person, and I really warmed up to everybody. They warmed up to me. I mean, I was welcomed with open arms, definitely.
As a young firefighter at age 18,
Yeah.
what does that kitchen table mean to you? I mean, the conversations you hear in there, like, what does that mean to you?
That it's like a waterfall in a way. Definitely like a waterfall. I mean, all that knowledge is like being flooded out to you, just like that. And I'm just here to take it all in. could be arguments, it could be fights, it could be people talking about their home life, everything like that.
Right.
I'm just here to take it all in, and it's definitely guided me in a way. It's definitely a lot of knowledge.
So it's guiding you in a way.
Yeah.
Right? So would you say that at age 18 you've also had some life lessons thrown at you?
100%.
also?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's not just
100%.
firefighting and not
Definitely
just
not.
EMS.
No.
So are you looking to become an EMT?
Yeah, I am. I just enrolled in the course. Actually, I just signed up today. I paid today. Starting at 27th.
Oh, great.
So September coming up soon.
So for your EMT.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things everywhere you look around here is some kind of book about National Registry or EMT. Everyone's trying to better themselves.
Mhm.
You know, do you find that this house pushes everyone to be better?
100%. Yeah. Our captains, our chiefs. I mean, they're two of the best guys I've ever met. Really, they're like serious and hard when they have to be. You know, obviously, chief, you gotta run a tight ship. But they do it in a way that, like, I mean, it's like family.
Right.
It's like your dad yelling at you, giving you a little pep talk. It's perfect. Same with the captain. Same with the higher members above me.
Now, you said you're on a volunteer department as well.
Yeah, I am. Yep.
So when you go back to the volunteer house, what do you say to your brothers and sisters there about where you work here?
I try to give them knowledge. I mean, I know I'm still a young buck. I'm still only a year in the fire service, but I try to take what I get from here, from the chiefs, my senior members, my officers, and bring it back there, because some of them, they don't have that structure. That's to say.
Yeah, that's a great word. Structure's so important in the fire service, right?
100%.
And you're already getting that now.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's probably at that kitchen table and other places within the firehouse, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean, like a family, fire department's definitely like a big family to me. I mean, just like at home, you come home, you eat dinner, you relax, you decompress. Same thing here. We come in here, night shift. We come in, talk about everybody's weekend or weekdays, everything, everybody's problems, solutions, all that. And I just soak it all in.
What kind of support system do you have at age 18? To come here, come do this. I mean, do you have a big support system at home, and you have other people in your home?
I mean, definitely my parents, my whole family. They're right behind me with everything I do. I mean, being a firefighter at age 18, I mean, some parents could be a little bit iffy, but I got full support from them, my brothers. Coming into the fire service, I was actually in fire school last year at 17. My birthday, I turned 18 December 2nd. That was the night of my live burn. So I was chomping at the bit right when I could, immediately. You definitely win some, you lose some. Like, for me, in high school, I didn't get to go to my graduation, I didn't get to go to my prom. But I was here with my brothers and sisters, and they really made it worthwhile for me. It really did. I mean, it's like a big old family.
What you just said, that kind of hit home for me. You realize that you're absolutely right. You did miss those things because of everything going on. So that's huge that you had these guys and girls here to help you and support you through that time where you really did miss out.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's been a tough year and a half. I mean, my junior year was a little affected at the back end, and then whole senior year was coming back here. It's just a big whole family. I mean, they really helped me out with that. It was really good.
That's good. I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of people were affected. By, especially in school, because those are one-time memories that they lost, but at least they were able to pick up the slack here. Sure. Do you have any friends that aren't firefighters at all, or EMTs?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you have those friends, what kind of conversations do you have with them about what you do? Do they understand what you do, or do you have to explain it to them, or what?
Sometimes, they'll see something on the news or on TV and they'll ask questions. I kind of just try to briefly give them a description if I can. Some of my friends do ask me a lot, like if they know I'm working, like how was your day? Did you go to this? Did you do that? Because some friends are like, did you see anything glory? Did you see anything bad? But it's those kind of people, honestly, to me, that I like to talk to because they don't know what you're talking about. So as like a vent aspect, I like having that because I can talk to somebody.
Yeah, because most people that aren't involved in the service, unless they have family members or they're somehow intimately involved, they just watch like Chicago Fire and those sort of things.
Yep.
They think that you come in, that's what you're doing the whole tour, and it's not really like that, right? There's some downtime, training, prepare meals, all the other stuff that comes with it. What is it for you that you like about the fire service? Is there one aspect? I talked to some guys and girls that say, well, maybe it's an engine company or a ladder company or rescue. What is it for you?
I'm just in all of it. I love helping people no matter what. For that aspect, I like ladder work, truck work. Down here, I mean, we kind of have to do it all because in the first however many minutes we're by ourselves. So, you know, if it's here, we're an engine company in a sense. If it's down in the north end, we're, you know, kind of both if we have to be.
Right.
But yeah, anywhere else I go, I love truck stuff. So that's just always been my forte.
Have you found that people your age, you're trying to draw them into the fire service, or do you feel that the people you're talking to are already finding their way to the fire service?
I think it's like people that already hang around people that do this kind of know where they want it, if they want it or not.
Yeah.
And then others you kind of just have to talk to or coach into more. I mean, because at home I still volunteer, so like when I'm out around my area at home, I still try to get people to come out and volunteer.
Right.
But we have younger people in our department who I know their friends are already going to want to join.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
they've been around it, they've seen it, and they think it's great. It's just trying to keep them in that momentum. They have to go through school, do all the hours, and keep up with it.
I know firefighters, we all love the craft, and you know, we want to perfect our craft each and every day we come to work. And a lot of us carry this with us off work. What is it that you have, like what's your hobby outside of the fire service? Do you have a hobby, or is there something you do?
So like this time of year, it's starting to become my favorite time of the year. I love fall and I love winter. Back where I'm at, we do a lot of hunting.
Okay.
You know, hunting, duck hunting, deer hunting. My cousin, it's a family farm, so I also farm when I'm at home, which is different than down here.
Yeah.
You know, it's for me, it's cool because from where I'm at, it's rural, and like I said, my friends told me about down here with it being the city and the boardwalk.
Right.
It was like, you know, I never really went to the boardwalk as a kid. Try it out and fell in love with it. It's awesome. You don't often go to work and you have a roller coaster in your backyard.
There's not too many people I talk to that live on the shore, or you know, that leave. They always come back because it's almost like stuck with you. You know, it's hard to do this and then go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you have those two things going on for you. You have the rural section, and also you got this here, which is cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate talking to us, man. It's good to meet all these guys in the house and the girls in the house, and it's so cool how everyone is so close here. You know. Nice to meet you, pal.
You too. Thank you.
All right, we got more coming at you with more interviews and more to show you here at Wildwood. Hey guys, we're upstairs here at Wildwood Fire Department inside the bunk rooms. This is where the firefighters stay overnight during their tour. The first thing they'll do is come in, you'll see the mattress is exactly like this. Everything's opened up. These spaces are for everybody, all the firefighters, so they'll come in like we did last night. Chris and I, we had our beds, and we brought our own sheets, obviously our own pillow, that set it all up. This also doubles as a space for a meat locker here in Wildwood as well. So if you're faint of heart when it comes to cold, this is not the place for you, nice and cold. One of the things we noticed was that the bunks up top were more for the part-time firefighters, per diem, and then the bottom were the full-time firefighters where they had the space. They also have lockers in here, which is really nice. What I liked about this room was how neat and organized it is. It's an old building, but they make do. They make it work. Everything is in line, everything organized, everything has its place here at the Wildwood Fire Department.
So me and Frank had a pretty eye-opening experience of our 24 here with Wildwood Fire Department. It's kind of unique how everyone comes up together like one big family, kind of get ready to settle in for the night. Like Frank said, you got to make your beds. I know me and Frank kind of had a hard time falling asleep, but I definitely did, knowing that at any second the bell could go off and you could have to run. So you definitely sit there a little anxiously. Ironically enough, they got a run about 3 a.m. for an EMS call, so we heard them kind of scurrying out the door, which was pretty cool. But you definitely sleep a lot lighter in a firehouse setting. But definitely the way they just set up for their 24 and kind of all come together, get settled down for the night, and get ready for a potential job is just it's a pretty cool experience, and I know I definitely enjoyed it, and looking forward to possibly doing it again.